laws mustn't start from there. That's the only instrument that legalizes ideas, right? But ideas shouldn't start from there. You have your eggheads, you have your people who are interested in developing Nigeria, sit down, analyze those laws, and tell you the weaknesses of these
The civil society organizations,
the civil society,
are they doing that?
Well, some are, but some of them are interested in snapping pictures, for instance, with the INEC chairman, and then going back to their funders to say, oh, we engaged with the leadership of INEC. And so because you have that civil society in Nigeria are not funded by Nigerians, and that's a big problem. Civil society in Nigeria are funded by foreign NGOs who have different interests. And they have, for instance, some activities of NGOs are not geared at solving the problem. They just want to create activities and actions around the problem. And so it's time now that Nigerians will begin to fund credible individuals and credible platforms to start building alternative civil society systems. Your traditional civil society systems is crumbling, not just...
When you say Nigerians funding them, is it Nigerian businessmen, Nigerian foundations? How many do we have?
But you see, people have to deliberately invest in things like this, in media, in civil society actions. But when you allow Bill Gates Foundations, Ford Foundation, MacArthur Foundation, these are foundations. They are genuine in what they are doing, but sometimes they have different interests outside of the national interest because no one can take care of you more than your very self. And so if you allow these people to, for instance, today, the topical issue that people are now talking about is climate change. And you see a lot of activities around climate change. I think there's one coming up either today or tomorrow around climate change. And people are funding climate change. And you ask yourself, climate change is germane. But climate change is now the appetite of funders.
Is it Nigeria's priority?
It is not. So, but when you take your ideas to them and they tell you we're only interested in climate change, you either have to get interested in what they're interested or you go and look for funds.
So the Indimi you mentioned, I know of T.Y. Danjuma, there are so many, the Health Foundation, so many of them.
So many of them.
You want them to
start looking for
channel more funds to
inwards, and then not just the big names, because Nigerians can contribute money in their trickles and clusters. Find credible individuals, find credible people, not just any charlatan on the streets, who are already working on those thematic areas that you know are germane to the health and the cohesiveness of the society, and begin to ask, how can you help? How can we help? But if you allow civil society funders, these are primary people whose only work is to fund civil society. When you bring in your idea and you say, this is what I want to do, I need X, Y, Z, before they fund this, your idea has been watered down, that you are left with mere actions and activities. So they are funding the peripherals, and they don't want to strike at the core issue.